So if you have any questions during the training, you can leave the message or unmute your microphone anytime if you need, okay? Okay, and our today's training will includes two parts. The first part is about the QA meeting of M2MP, T16, and T20. In this part, if I want to know if you have any questions about those models. In the repair part. Okay, if you have, or if you have it in the later, you can leave the message in the chatting room. Okay, so if you have any questions about the previous generation, we will step into the second part of our today's training. Our second part we will mainly talk about the new generation of AGRAs, which will be T10 and T30. And we'll start with T30. Okay. So let's begin. And talking about T30, we'll talk about them according to these 6 steps. First, we'll talk about the brief introduction of T30. After that, we'll talk about material identification. Next, talk about the repair strategy of it. And next, we'll talk about some notices during the disassembly and assembly of it. Next, we'll talk about the principal diagram. I think our old friends who has already attended several times of our QA meeting in AGRAS series, it's familiar with the principal diagram. It's very useful and make you to be more efficient during the damage assessment. If you are new, you are the first time to hear this name, principal diagram. Never mind, we'll talk about it later, detailed, okay? And lastly, we'll talk about the malfunction assessment and analysis. In this part, we'll talk about the damage assessment according to different malfunctions or some different situations. In this kind of firm, what can we do to do the damage assessment very correctly, okay? So let's take a look at this picture. This is how AGRAS T30 looks like, and its DJI internal name is AG501, okay? And for here, on the right side of this page, here is a lot of introduction of it. I'm not going to explain much about this part. The only important thing about this page is here. The maximum payload is 40 kilogram when using with the spreading system, because do you know the reason why it's called T30? Yeah, I think the answer is very easy to answer, right? It's because its spraying tank can reach up to 30 kilogram. And the spreading system, we can have a 10 kilogram volume, and they put together will be reach up to 40 kilogram, okay, in totally. And this is how the remote controller of T30 looks like. Can you tell any differences between the previous remote controller of T16 and T20 from the appearance according to this page? Any differences you can tell? Welcome to leave the answer in the chatting room. I think maybe some of you have already found the differences. 1 minute to leave the answer. Daniel, do you have any idea about this question? I think it's the same. The integration of RTK flight mode. Okay, several answers. One more chance.
T6 con el T20 en el hambre. Se está escuchando preguntar.
Okay. Okay, so what exactly the differences between the previous remote controller? Let's take a look step by step. The new generation use DJI OcuSync 2.0. Is it different than before? Okay. Yeah, great. So its distance can reach up to 5 kilometers, and it supports the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. There is nothing differences, and the built-in battery use. Is it possible to use T16 and T20 in multi-aircraft mode? It's available to use the multiple control in T16 and T20, and so as to T10 and T30. Okay, and its working time can reach up to 4 hours. Is stronger than before. And one more thing. About this page, the remote controller of T10 and T30 can only be available on T10 and T30, not available on T16 MG and T20. Okay, remember this. It's only available on T10 and T30. Is possible the radar of T20 installed to T16? It's available to install, but it will not work normally. Okay, because the install position and the function of the main board of T16 is different than T20. It will be not stable. I will not suggest you to do that. Okay. And in this page, we'll talk about some differences between T30 and T20. Can you tell any differences? 1 minute. You can leave the message answers in the chatting room to recognize from the appearance to tell their differences. From the appearance, I think most of the covers, landing gears, arms, sprinklers, propellers, motors, middle frame, front cover, rear cover, it's totally different, right? Yes. The lock of arms can transform while flying. Radar. Okay. Good answers. And let's take a look. For T30, we have 30 kilogram spray tank. It's larger than before, right? And its radar is stronger than before. For T20, it's only the front, rear, left, and right, right? And you can say a front, rear, and the bottom side. But on T30, it's a full direction detecting the radar. And I think you can take a look at a short video about the T30's radar. Can you see the video? Okay. What's the radar differences? Let's take a look. This is how the radar works on T30. It's 360 degrees detecting area. You see? And let's take a look what exactly the differences between their radars. And can you tell me where the radar is on T20? Where the radar is on T20? Yeah, right here, right? And yeah, bottom side. And how about T30? Where is it? Yeah, the same position, right? And here is one interesting thing is that we have one more radar. We have one more radar on T30. Where is it? Can anybody tell me? Any ideas? Yeah, the top beside RTK antenna. Okay, it's this is the front side, right? This is the front side of T30. And the second radar, it's right here on the top front side. So the two radar on T30 makes T30 can detect full directions obstacles, like full directions obstacles. And for T20, we only have one, so we can only detect the front, the back, and the bottom size obstacles. Okay. The left and right, we can detect also. So next, the landing gear is designed method. It's different, right? It's stronger than before, and it's good looking than before. And one more thing is the FPV cameras is different. Can you tell where the FPV on T20? Any ideas? Where is the FPV on T20? Front, yeah. On the aerial electronic board, right? Yeah, it's right over here. And for T30, we have two FPV cameras. And it's not on any other modules. On T30, it's a totally single module. It's a single module. Remember this. And one is on the front, another one is on the back. Yeah, it's safer, right?
Question.
Yes.
Do you get one at the bottom for like spot spraying?
Sorry.
Do you get like a bottom camera for spot spraying? So a lot of our customers ask about spot spraying and being able to see what they're spraying like at the bottom. No?
You mean the spotlights on the bottom?
So a lot of our customers ask, if we can include a camera at the bottom for
Yeah.
spot spraying.
Okay. Because the camera, because we have the radar.
Okay. Okay.
You mean you want to know the working condition on the bottom side of the aircraft?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I got your point.
I can come back to that later.
Yeah, I got your point. Maybe it will be realized in the next generation.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, maybe.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Why we don't have any gimbal camera? Because the Agra's model working environment, it's complicated, right? The gimbal camera, it's flexible, and maybe in some complicated environment, it will be not stable enough. So we don't have any gimbal camera on Agra's series. Just for like reliable working. We don't have the gimbal designed. Spot spring. The spot spring is different than the frontier functions. Okay. Next, the IP level. It's stronger than before. For the previous generation on T20, the IP67 only for core components. But right now, the IP67 is available to the whole aircraft. Okay. And one more thing, we have 16 sprinklers on T30. So it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we have 4 and 4 on the front and rear arm. Okay. So this is the differences. And let's take a look what's the differences on new generation. We add a flip of cover to optimize battery protection, which is this one. And we use OQSIN 2.0 with a maximum transmission range of up to 5 kilometers. And we add a DJI Agra's logo. Yeah. Which is right here. Can you find? So we have totally 3 main differences. And those are the different remote controller for different models. This is the smart controller 3.0 only for T10 and T30. And this is the enterprise. This is the consumer level remote controller. If you are interested about this part, you can spend more time after the training. Okay. And this, we'll talk about some specifications. I'm not going to read them all. I just want you to know the new generation is working efficient. It's higher. It's stronger. Third party APK. you can try if you can do that, because the remote controller, I think you can try. Yeah. Yeah. So next page, the biggest differences between them is that we have one more radar. We have one more radar on the front top side of T30. And the battery is stronger than before. This is all the materials in the box. If you are not sure about the materials in the box, you can check with this page to help you to find out all. This page can help you to make sure there is nothing left, nothing missing in your box. Okay, like the aircraft, battery safety box, toolbox, dongle, charger, cables, remote controller, battery, charging hub, or anything else. Okay. So let's take a look. What's the second radar looks like? So this is the top radar looks like, and it's right installed under this cover, this position. It can help our T30 to get 360 degrees obstacle detection. And this is how the cable distribution module looks like. And this is the most important module in T30. According to the picture, you may think this is only one module, but after the assembly, you will find it consists of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 modules. Let's take a look. This is the aerial electronic system module. Yeah, we have the differences between them, and we'll talk about the battery, the charger later after talking about the aircraft. Yeah. So aerial electronic system module, do you know what's the function of it? Yeah, it mainly controls the aircraft's flight functions, right? Yeah. We have the IMUs, we have the CPUs to collect all the informations from different sensors, different mainboards, and analyze and send back the control signal to them. And this is the upward radar, and this is the RF module, and this is the spraying module. Those two are covers. And this is the cable distribution board. And as you can see, this is the biggest board of T30. And after it turned the back on the top side, you will find many connecting ports on this board. As you can see, according to this cable distribution module, you will find it's very highly integrated and very easy to be disassembled and assembled, because they all different kinds of modules are designed based on their functions individually, right? If the aerial electronic function is damaged, we just only need to replace this one. You don't need to disassemble all of them. You just need to take this out and replace a new one back, right? And if the upward radar is not working, replace it individually. So same as to the RF module, spring module, and the cable distribution board. And it's highly waterproofed. Do you remember what's the IP level of T30? The question, what's the IP level of this board? What's the IP level of this board? Okay, great, correct, IP67. So what's the IP level of this board? Any ideas? Yeah, same, correct. Because as we just talked about, the IP67 is to the whole aircraft, right? Yeah, nope. And this is the how the FPV module looks like. Do you remember where is the position of it? Front? Any other answers? We have, remember, we have two FPV module on T30. Yeah, front and back. Great. And we can see the camera here, and we can see the beacon here. It's stronger. The beacon is stronger than before, and you can get brighter working experience in the low brightness environment. And you can see if the FPV module is not working, you can just only take the FPV module out individually. Okay, not like before. If the beacon is not working on T20, what should you do? Whole board has to be replaced. Yeah, replace the whole board, right? Which means the aerial electronic board. But to the new generation, we can only replace the FPV module individually. Okay. What kind is the camera? It's the FPV camera, first personal view. First, it can tell you the working condition of the aircraft from the front and backward. So when you say T20 IP67 is only for the core, what exactly you mean? I mean the core boards, which like the radar, the springboard, let me think, the aerial electronic board, the pumps, like this. If you are familiar about T20, this part is mentioned in the recorded videos. You can spend time to watch the recorded videos in the training link. And I think I can send the link again. Here. You're welcome. And after finishing the recorded videos, if you have any questions, you can attend our next training and ask me the questions that you have, okay? Yeah. So this is how the power distribution board looks like. And the power distribution board and the cable distribution module have fully enclosed potting protection. And this is how the RTK looks like, and it's different. The material and sorry, I have to unmute some microphones. Okay. This is how the RTK looks like. Do you know the function of RTK? This is the basic knowledge of UAV. Without the RTK, what will happen to our drones? It's like I have to work on this position, right? If we have the RTK, we can work here very precisely. But if we have no RTK, maybe the accuracy is not correct. Maybe I want you to work here, and finally it works here, right? So it will not very precisely. And this is how the T30's ESC module looks like. And the function is not, there has no differences between the previous generations. And from the appearance, it's different and it's stronger than before and looks better, right? Yeah. And this is how the motor looks like. And this is the model's name. This is the plunger pump, electronic magnetic valve. Has nothing different to say. And this is the flow meter module. Looks like, and this is a liquid level meter. Looks like. So far, do you have any question about the module identification and the product introduction? In this two part, we just talked about the basic information of T30. Okay. Continue to the most important page, which is called the repair strategy. Just imagine, what if the power adapter is damaged? What can we do? We have to replace the whole aircraft or just only replace the power adapter? Or we have to replace only the cable? Three options. If the power adapter, this one, is damaged, we have to replace the whole aircraft, or we have to replace the power adapter, or we have to fix the cable problem. Just the module, only the parts that has damaged. Because we have the cables inside, right? We have the cables inside the adapter. We can fix the cable problem, or we have to replace the module, or we have to replace the whole aircraft. Can we fix the cable problems? In not related case, is there a procedure to be performed? What do you mean about not related? Is there a procedure to be performed? Okay, the answer about this question is that we have to replace the whole module. Okay, so as to others So as to other modules, every time if you are not sure about the repair strategy, you can refer to this page, okay? For example, if you find the cable distribution board module is not working and need to replace a new one, we cannot, according to the adjustment, we cannot replace the we cannot repair the main board itself. We can only replace the whole module, which is the cable distribution board module. But here, we can repair the diameter. We can do that. And we can have the material in the dealer system. Okay. And so as to here, what if the spray tank is not working and we need to replace a new one? The only thing we can do is to repair all components. So this repair strategy of spray tank is different than the cable distribution board module, right? Yeah. For a different module on T30, the repair strategy is a little bit different. So what's exactly the differences between them? You can just refer to this page, okay? In battery, by repairing, will it affect IP rating? It will not. It will not. Unless you are not following the advices according to this page. Okay? For example, you have to very strictly following the advices according to this page. Okay? For example, the FPV module is broken on the beacon. The repair strategy of the FPV module is to replace the whole module, right? But if you want to repair the beacon individually, and then you have to open the FPV module, right? And replace the new beacon inside. In this situation, it will affect the IP rating. In this situation. So that is the reason why we suggest you to replace the whole module, not repair the beacon itself. If you follow these advices, nothing will be happened. Okay? Yeah. Next part. Disassembly and assembly notices. First of all, you have to make sure all the tools is ready. We have 11 different kinds of tools need to be ready before the disassembly. Just make sure you can get them all next time that you are going to do that. And here are the disassembly and assembly videos. And the video links here. Just make sure you can open it after the training. And here is the passwords. The passwords are the same. And remember the link and the password that I sent in the meeting room several times today. I send it again. I just want you to make sure you can open it and try to download docs that you need. Because in this link, we have the training materials, we have the recorded videos, we have the links of the disassembly and assembly videos. all the thing that you are going to need is inside this link. Okay, it's very important. I'm not going to repeat again. So this is how the cable connectors and on the cable distribution board looks like. There has too much connecting port. You can use this picture to help you to do the connection when you do that. Okay, like you have to connect this board to the radar single cable, this board, and this board connect to the number 6 arm. Okay, it's will be a very helpful tool during the assembly. So as to this picture, the assembly guidance. And this is how the pump, the pipe, and the connector works. And here is the pump. We have 2 pumps totally. Let's take a look, a minute. We have 1 pump, 2 pump. The left one is pump number 1. Remember, the left one is the number 1. The right one is number 2, pump number 2. Okay, and for the number 1, you have to know is for the pump number 1 is connected to 3, 4, and 5. The rear arms is connected to pump to the left pump, which is the pump number 1. And the pump number 2 is connected to the front arms. Okay, don't do that wrong. Okay, don't do that wrong. We have to pay attention to the position of the pumps 1 and 2. Okay, left 1, right 2. And the left rear arms, right front arms. Okay. And after assembly to the motors and propellers, we have to use the screw glue. We have to use the screw glue to the propeller screws and the motor screws. Remember, every time you do the repair on the propellers, on the motors, you have to use the screw glue. Okay? And never forget to check the screw after the repair on the propeller and the motors. Is it connected tightly, and did we put the screw glue on? And here, where is the picture? Okay. So here, any questions? Is this the blue color glue? It's a common screw glue. You can just use the common models screw glue. It's a glue that makes sure the screws is fixed on the right position. Let me check if it's another name called thread lock. Okay, wait a minute. Yes. The screw glue has another name is called thread lock. Yes, thank you for the explanation. Yeah, it's thread lock. Remember, okay? Back to this page. Remember, use the thread lock right here and here. Okay? Don't forget. And next, we have used another thread locker here. Yeah, great. We have another position needs to use the thread lock right here. Can anybody tell me where is this position? It's the arms, right? Between the arms. And between the arms, we have the axles and screws to connect here. And for this part, we have to use the thread lock also. And we have to apply them on 3 different positions, which is here, here, and here. One, two, three, and which is related to it's okay. I use a smaller pen. It's related to here and here and here. Okay, which is here, here, and here. To use this model. Use this type. Okay. And after the arm lock is replaced, fasten the level as shown. Then the tension value needs to be tested. For here, we need to use a test tool which is called tautness meter to make sure the tension range is around this data. Okay, we have to use this test tool to make sure the tension range is around this. Okay. Remember, it's very important. First, 3 points to use the red thread. And make sure the tension range. Is there any material we can use to protect plastic bag parts for just to the Agra's models, the maintenance, it's very important every time after the working, every day. You have to wash or spray the waters from the tank. Yeah, watering and replace it once you find the plastic material is damaged. So it's very important to do the maintenance. There is no a good method to prevent the damage from the drugs. Okay. Yeah, we have no good method to prevent that. And this is the middle frame looks like, and this is the landing gear connector looks like. And here is a very important thing about the installation of radar. Pay attention to the installation direction of the landing gear and the radar signal cable needs. Okay, pay attention. The radar signal cable needs to be attached to the left side, So which is this position. This position needs to be on the left side. Tool has to be regularly calibrated to ensure the true volume. For the tautness matter, you can contact with your regional manager to purchase. Yeah, because in different countries, different regions, the brand and the temperature setting is a little bit different. You can just directly contact with your regional manager about the tautness matter. Okay. About the disassembly and assembly of the remote controller, the front and the rear frame, it's very difficult for you to do the disassembly because it's very tight. You have to follow these notices. There are buckles between the upper and lower shells, which are very firm after assembly. When removing the lower shell, first unscrew all the screws, hold the lower shell right like this, like here, with your hand, and then remove it forcefully. Okay, it's very difficult and hard to do that. You can try after the training. If you need to remove the front covers decorative piece, this is more difficult than removing the lower shell. Why? Because it's very, very easy to be damaged. And you can say the decorative piece damages every time if you need to do the repair on it. Okay, so how to do? When removing the components inside the front shell, remove the front covers decorative piece first. Remove the 2 screws and then remove the front covers decorative piece by using the crowbar to pry it off gently. It's very easy to be damaged, and you can say it damages every time. So pay more attention to the decorative piece. And removing the antenna sleeve, removing the mic board is very easy and it's not difficult. You can just follow the steps. When you do that. And the same as to the previous notices. And this is the principal diagram. Okay, so far, any questions about the notices during this assembly and assembly? The most important thing I have already remarked for you. Okay, one thing to correct is that the decorative piece on the front cover is not so easy to be damaged. One situation to be damaged is that you don't do that gently. If you remove it very carefully, it's not so easy to be damaged. The easy damaged decorative piece is the front covers piece. So every time you replace the decorative piece, you need to replace a new one. Don't use the old one, because every time you remove the front covers decorative piece, it will be damaged. Okay, not this one. Okay. So here is the principal diagrams. As you can see here, has so much characters, so much squares. Never mind, you can just try to draw down after the disassembly. You can just try to draw down. How to draw is you can start with the battery. You can start with the battery. For example, here is the battery, and then you will see which main board, which cable is connected directly with the battery, and then you will see the power distribution board. And after draw down the power distribution board, you should find what exactly the modules and sensors is connected directly with the power distribution board, and then you draw down all of them. And after that, you will you need to find which main board, which biggest board is connect directly with the power distribution board, and then you draw down the biggest board. And then you need to find out what exactly the sensors, modules connect with this board, and you draw it down. And then you will find the second size of the module, which is this one, and then you will see we have other sensors is connected with it. Okay, and then you, after finish that at least once, you will find it's very, very easy for you to understand the principal diagram. My advice is to draw down from the battery, and one by one. Okay, battery, power distribution board, cable distribution board, and you draw them down and find what sensors, what modules are directly connect with them. Okay, and this, what can we do to use this principal diagram is that we can use it as a damage assessment tool for you to do that. For example, like what will happen if the T30 is not working on the power, it cannot be power on. Which part should we need to detect the first? According to the principal diagram, it cannot be power on. Which part should we need to check the first? According to the principal diagram. Start from battery. Right. According to the principal diagram, we need to know which part is taken in charge of the power supply, right? The battery taking in charge of the power supply so as to the cable between power distribution board, right? Yeah, the cable between them, don't forget it. And check the power distribution board, because the power distribution board can assume the power from battery and distribute different current to different board. So our aircraft can work normally, right? So we have to check the battery first, try to charge the battery, and check the cable or the connection between battery and power distribution board. right? Yeah, don't forget to check the middle part. And after that, check the power distribution board. And my second question is that, what if this LED is not working? Which part should we need to check the first? This LED is not working. These. Which part should we need to check the first? Yeah, according to the principal diagram, we need to check, we need to check the cable and check the LED is damaged or not, right? Yeah, and then we need to check the connector on the ESC board. And then we check the cable between ESC and power distribution board. What will happen if this cable is not working? If this cable is damaged, the ESC is not working, right? Which will cause the related motor is not working. Not only the LED board, right? So in the question situation is that only LED board not working. The motor is working fine. So which means that the damage only happens on LED board or cable or connector, right? But if in this situation, the motor is not working also, it's not working either, which means that this part has the problem, right? This part may have the problem. So I want you to draw down the principal diagram after finishing the disassembly. Okay, it's very meaningful and helpful for you to do the damage assessment very quickly. Okay, can a Type-C connection cables be replaced in case of breakage? You mean you want to Type-C connection? I'm not sure about the which Type-C connection cable you mean. Okay, one more thing about this page is that we describes the functions of each module of motors, ESC, power distribution board functions. You can read them very carefully after the training. Okay. So this is the principal diagram of the remote controller. It's the same method. We draw down from the power supply system. So you draw down the battery first, and then you will find the main board. And then you will find hall sensor board, button board, mic board, SDR board, and the hall sensor board. And then you draw down all the sensors connect with it. And then you will find, you will get more familiar with this module. And here is the functions of each others. And this is the malfunction assessment and analyze. In this topic, it can tells you the standard damage assessment procedures. Start power on. Start the damage assessment. Do the visual inspection. Check whether the product can be power on. If not, check the power supply system. If yes, perform the functionality test with the app and see if the test is passed. If yes, end the test. If not, follow the function failure assessment process. The function failure assessment process, it's right in the coming topics. So in the coming topics, we will list different situations, different malfunctions, like if the product cannot be powered on, check the following: 1, 2, 3. If the perform functionally test, link test, this is the test procedures. First, linking test. Check the linking between remote controller and the aircraft. And HMs check, and one by one, follow them. Any questions about these two parts? This is the common damage assessment procedure. This is the situation damage method. This is the test. This is the test after repair that you need to do. Okay, if not, I will move on. If yes, you can leave the message about your question. So in this page, we can know what exactly the modules is interchangeable between different models, between T16, T20, T10, and T30. What exactly the modules is interchangeable? Like the motors, as you can see, the motors of the 4 models is not interchangeable. They need to use the motors that they use, okay? But for the silicone rubber pad is interchangeable between the 4 models, and the telephone gasket is interchangeable, and the propellers is interchangeable between T20, T10, T30. Okay. And for the modules inside, it's interchangeable between T10 and T30. Like the aerial electronic system module, spring module, RF module, RTK module is interchangeable between T10, T30. And the radar is interchangeable between T10 and T30. The delivery pump is interchangeable between T16 and T20. And the FPV is interchangeable between T10 and T30. The ESC, the remote controller, is interchangeable between T10 and T30. If you forget which module, which accessories is interchangeable, you can refer to this page, okay? So far, do you have any questions about T30 and their basic informations? Okay, if not, we'll move on to the chargers and the batteries. About the batteries and chargers, this part will be fast. The same topics: product introduction, material identification, repair strategy, disassembly and assembly notices, principles diagram and boards introduction, test plans and fixtures, malfunction assessment and analyze. the same as the T30's topics. The battery of T30 and T10's battery is different. It's different. They cannot be they are not interchangeable. And its IP rating is IP54. The capacity is different. Sorry, my computer is stuck. A minute. Maybe I need to. Okay. Okay. Sorry, a minute. Okay, let's turn to the most curious part from your side. Is the T20 and T30 battery the same? Let's take a look. The T30's battery only supports to itself. Same to the T10. And for the T20's battery is available on T10 and T20 also, but not available on T30. Remember, okay? Which means the T20 and T30's battery is not the same and cannot be interchangeable. Okay. And the T30's battery station only supports to itself. But between T10 and T20 can be interchangeable. So which means that the charger, the battery station is interchangeable between T10 and T20. Okay. And the differences between T10 and T30's intelligent battery station is different. Even though they looks very same from the appearance, but inside they are different. Like the main boards, like the cables has a little bit different, so they cannot be interchangeable between T10 and T30. This is how they looks like. How many circles? Let me check. Here. 1,000 charge cycles or 12 months, whichever is sooner. Is DJI releasing a generator? Any information of flight time per battery model? Okay, Alvin, I will reply you this later after talking about the battery. Never mind. And just remember the storage of the battery need to be very stable and suitable, okay? And the operating temperature range of the battery should be between -5 to 45 degree. Okay. Yeah, after 12 months, you have to replace the battery for safety. Yeah. And the repair on the battery station is easier than before because the design method is the same to the aircraft. They are very highly integrated. They're highly integrated to the main boards. We have three main boards to the battery station, LED board, battery station main board, and the power button board. Despite the LED board and power button board, let's talk about the battery station main board. It communicates with the power module and battery, manages the battery charging current, and outputs the LED signal to control the LED display. The management board firmware can be updated by connecting to the computer via Type-C, okay? Via Type-C port or on the remote controller. The log can be exported through the computer and imported via the remote controller. So this is the very important main board of the station. Okay. The warranty details of T30's battery, we have 1,000 charge cycles or 12 months. It depends on whichever is sooner. Is it clear? Yeah. Okay, let's continue. This is the charging cable, the module, the power module adaptive board. It also, okay, if you are interested about the functions of them, you can just read it after today's training. This is the battery's main board and the battery upper shell module. We have less main boards inside, so the repair is very easy than before. So let's take a look. What can we do on different repair situations? To battery station, if we are facing to damage to the power module, what should we do? We need to replace the power module. Never try to fix the power module, like the sensors on the board, sensors on the power module, the cables, or the or like the core thing on it. How many battery can be charged at the same time in the battery station? Okay, I'll reply you later. For the main board, LED board, power module adaptive board, we only can replace the whole module. Never try to fix that. Okay, never try to fix that. Structure part. If the structure part is damaged, we need to replace all the parts. Okay, which means that we cannot repair the structure part. And the most important is coming. Please pay attention to the battery repair. If you find the battery cell module is damaged, you cannot do the repair because it's very dangerous to do that. And if the upper shell module, including battery main board, is damaged, you cannot do the repair. Other appearance parts, you can do the repair. Like the cover, like the sticker, battery handle, and the bottom pad, you can do. But But remember, battery cell and upper shell module, you cannot do the repair, not related. Okay, remember, because talking about the repair to the battery, the requirements of the repair is very strictly. Now power module is not available overseas, will be available soon. Yes. Yeah, replace upper shell module. For this, because our regional manager has no release the material in the dealer system, so that you cannot do the replacement on upper shell module. Yeah. And here are some notices during this assembly and assemblies. White glue is required to apply to the flat cable connector, like this. Okay. The power button is no foolproof designed. So in this situation, we have to make sure the power icon faces upward. Okay. We have to put it on the right direction. Okay. Because we can see the DJI logo here, and these should be on the top side to the upward. And the waterproof label, if there is no waterproof label on a received port board, attach the waterproof label if the port board needs to be replaced. Okay, remember this. And the communication board needs to be attached first, and then mount a bracket module to the U-type frame. Just remember this. And this should be followed to the different data. Do you remember which part should we need to draw down first when we are going to do the principal diagram? Yeah, the power part. Yeah, the power part. To the battery station is the charging port, right? Yeah. So I'm not going to explain more about this. You need to spend time to draw down at least once after the training. It will be helpful for you to understand the new machine very clearly, very easily, okay? And this is same to the battery. To the battery, we need to draw the power outlet part first. We need to draw down the power outlet first. And this is the test that we need to do after the repair. Only one test we need to do after repair the battery station is to fast and slow charge to check these two modes. And the third test step is to check the full charge test. Fast mode, slow mode, fully charge. Okay. And this is the procedures that you need to do. Do the damage assessment. Visual inspection, check the AC cable and charging cable. Yeah, check the cable first and export the log, update the battery station, update. Don't forget to update. Full charge, analyze the malfunction, end. And how about the battery is the same? Visual inspection, power on and off test. Water damage assessed. Check warnings on the assistant software, which is the DJI Assistant. DJI Assistant download in our website. And first, fully charge. So as you can see, the visual inspection is very basic and very important that you need to do every time you're going to do the damage assessment on every machines. Okay, not just the AGRAs or the consumer level or enterprise level. Every machine that you need to do the visual inspection first. So in this part, it requires you that you have to make sure you know what is the common, what is the good condition of a machine from the appearance, so that you can find out the damage part very easily and correctly. And here is some damage assessment advices from the LED blinking pattern. If it shows different color of the LED and it has different sounds, which it means. For example, it's solid yellow. It's solid yellow, and it has no any sounds, which the description of the malfunction is the main board is malfunctioning and the power is limited. If it's solid yellow with no sound, which means that this. So what can we do when we are facing to this situation? We just need to change the main board. For example, like it blinks red once continuously, and it shows D, D, D like this, and then you can just need to change the power module directly so as to the other situations. Okay, this is how this page's sheet looks like and how we use it. So far, do you have any questions about the battery and the battery station? Okay, if we have no question.
Hello.
Yes.
How many minutes to the charger for the T30, T10 to T20, T30?
T20 fast mode, right?
No, T20, no, T30. Yeah, fast mode, yeah.
You mean T30 or T20?
T30, yeah.
Oh, 30, right? Let me check. Here is the charging time. Fast
1825.
and slow.
Oh, it's,
Okay.
it's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And if you have further questions about the battery and battery stations, you can leave the message or unmute your microphone to let me know your question. Lastly, we are going to talk about the spreading system. It's very easy, and you just need to know that they are not interchangeable between T10 and T30's spreading system. Okay, it's different than the previous one, and it's not interchangeable between T10 and T30. And you can see how it looks like, right? It's totally different. And there is nothing difficult or special need to discuss on the spreading system, but for the new generation of the spreading system is larger, stronger, and efficient, more efficient. Warranty of the battery, we'll talk about it later. We just talked about that minutes ago. Okay, later I will talk about it. This is how the accessories and modules inside. And this is the serial number stickers location can be found on the spinner disc and can be found. And this is the main modules inside the spreading system. This is the I'll put it larger. This is the control module. This is the servo module. This is the reduction gearbox. And this is how their functions. The core module of the spreading system is the control module. And the servo module controls the changes of the hopper gate angle and the opening closing of the hopper gate. If you find that the working of the gate and the opening and closing function, you need to detect the servo module, okay? The reduction gearbox drives the steering device to spin, brings the materials to the hopper gate and spreads them out of the hopper gate. Yes, Mr. Arya, right? And this is the weight sensor. It's responsible for collecting the weight of the tank. It can tell us the weight of the powders of the materials that we are going to use. And this is a weight collection board. It receives the data from the weight sensor and calculates the weight. They work together to let us know the working conditions inside the tank. For this, of the spreading system, we also have some notices during this assembly and assembly. When installing the large gear, make sure that the large gear is aligned with the notch of the small gear on the servo module. Okay. On the weight control module, the number of the weight sensor modules on the left side is 1 and 2, and that of weight sensor modules on the right side is 3 and 4. Okay, so if you are going to do that on site or by yourself, you need to open this page and follow the advices very strictly. It's very helpful for you to avoid wrong ways. Okay, and this is a principal diagram, and it's a little bit different than the aircraft, but basically the principle is the same. Okay. And this is a test we need to do after repair. So what exactly, how many tests we need to do after the repair on the spreading system? We have 3 repair tests that we need to do. First, we need to update the firmware by our DJI assistant on our official website. Next, we need to connect with our remote controller and open enter our app to do the functional test. And write the weight value K, which means that we need to do some calibration on the remote controller. Here is one important thing we need to pay attention to is that the valve K needs to be written again when the load sensor is replaced. Remember this. Maybe some of you, I think maybe the most of you has no received the T10 or T30, right? So if you are going to do the repair on it by yourself, you can open the recorded videos that recorded today and turn to the PowerPoint to this page to help you to the repair well. And after do the repair on the whole product on the spreader, we need to, for this page, after replace like the control module, we need to do the firmware updates. We need to do the app functional test, but we don't need to write the weight value K. The same situation to the reduction gearbox servo cable. We don't need to rewrite the K. But after replacing the load collection board, load sensor, we need to rewrite the K. And also we need to do the firmware update, app functional test, okay? So this is the differences. And this is same procedure. Start visual inspection, check whether it can power on, app functional test. It's the same. And it's the feedback. It's the interchangeable modules and accessories between T16, T20, T10, and T30. If you forget which accessories and modules is interchangeable, you can refer to this page to solve all your doubts about this part. So far, do you have any questions? If no, let's have a brief introduction of T10. T10 is smaller. It's smaller than T30, but basically the same from the appearance. Is that the differences between them is biggest differences between them is about the arms. We only have 4 arms on T10. When T30 and T10 will be available for Europe, I think you need to check with your regional manager, but I think it will be soon. I'm not sure about this kind of question. Sorry about that. And we also have 2 FPV, 2 camera, and the IP level is IP 67. DJI generator. Let me check. I'm not sure about this kind of question when it's available in your country. The remote controller between T10 and T30 is the same. It's the same, okay? And there is nothing differences between T30. So just make it quick. Let's take a look. Here is one thing to the pump. Do you remember which pump is number one on T30? The left one or the right one? Yeah, for T30, the pump number one is the left one, right? Yeah, but for T10, the pump number one is on the right one. Okay, remember this, it's very interesting. But the right pump is taken in charge and connect to the front arms. And the left one is taken in charge and connect with the rear arms. Okay, this is the differences between them. And the others, it's the same. For this, need to apply the thread lock. And here we need to use the meter to make sure the acceptable tension range. The acceptable tension range between T10 and T30 is different. Do you remember the tension range of T30? Yes, great. Great answer from Carlos. Yeah, nice. Good. Nice to hear that. And for next, here is important also. Remember, pay attention to the installation direction of the landing gear, and the radar signal cable needs to be attached to the left side. To the left side, this part. A minute. This part. Okay, it's not easy to be seen. This one. This cable should be on the left side of the aircraft. So the others has nothing differences. The principal diagram draw from the power supply system. And the malfunction procedure is the same to the previous one. Individually from the visual inspection. And next, functional test, a functional check, and last, functional check. Okay, so far, any questions? For the generator, we'll talk about it maybe in the next training. Pressure washer. Pressure washer. I'm not sure about this question, honestly. It depends on what kind of pressure level. If it's too high, if it's too high to over pressure, it's not obvious to reply. The one use of for cars. Theory speaking, it's available to use this kind of pressure washer to clean it.
It did.
Yep. Yeah. For the generator, we are not going to talk about it today. Maybe next time on the generator, information will be shown in the training notice email. The next time, if you see the generators word in the training notice, you can attend Yeah, thank you for your understanding. So far, do you have any questions? If no, this will be all of our today's training. Okay, thank you for your attendance. I'm Frederick. I hope we can meet again soon. And take care, okay? Everybody take care and keep health. There is a diagram of the operation of the RTK module. We cannot do operation on the RTK. Yeah, sorry about that. Okay, everybody keep safe, keep health, and put your mask on every time. Okay, remember, and see you next time. I will give the time to Miss Juno.
So thanks for Frederick sharing. And for today's training, we are gonna say goodbye. And here is the link for today's training, and you can give us your feedback. Yeah, how do you think that the training arrangement? How do you think the materials? And also, we will repeat this afternoon, Beijing 10. And if you still want to join us, you still also welcome. Okay. So goodbye, everyone. Take care. Good luck. Bye. By the way, now about the record video, and when we finish the second session, and we'll release you by email. And you can check later. Bye.
Zai Chen, Juno, Zai Chen, Frederick.
Bye.